Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Touch base. There is so much, so much going on right now in the world that I think that many of us, myself included, could use a pause um, just to regroup. And so my message this morning, um, as we close out the month of August, is to remind you that you are absolutely in control of what you do with that information. This thing about life as we know it is that stuff happens, right? And we also know that no matter how strong we have to be to get through situations, that it can be pressing. And so I want to remind you to utilize self-care even in the midst of chaos. We talking about um, those times when stuff just hits back to back and it seems like you just cannot move forward. Be reminded and stay mindful. Like I said, that life happens, and it ain't how you fall down, but how you get back up. So when those punches are coming, um, on your job, or you're not getting along with folks, in your circle, or your house has some energy that is off. I believe wholeheartedly that in those times it behooves us to take a step back so that we can regroup. I'm going to pause so I can throw in some good mornings. I want to thank you for stopping through. Let's see here. Jeffrey, Mary, Tana, Sasti, Nathan, Shay, hello. How's everybody doing? Um, yeah, it's just, it is so much going on that we absolutely have to take a pause for the cause and get resituated. And I know there are many moms on here. There are dads that are joining now. And I just want to say to the parents, take time for self on an individual basis, to meditate, to get quiet, to jot down your thoughts, to write down that goal plan, because if you don't, you're going to be on to something else. And one thing we do know is that life going to keep doing what it do. So there may be some more punches coming in between, and you can't address everything at once, although sometimes we're put into those situations too, when those hits keep coming back to back. You got stuff going on at work. You got stuff going on at home. You got stuff going on with your stuff. And if you don't take time for self-care, it is just going to be so much harder to push through. And I want to talk a little bit about faith and maintaining faith when you are going through, when it looks like, doors are just closing one after another in your face, and you have been counting on some things. So we're talking about dealing with disappointment. We're talking about also understanding that what is for us, and the importance of trusting the timing of the universe as opposed to simply trusting what things look like from our eye level. Because too often we don't even understand that we have a third eye right here, that intuition that pushes us to greater understanding and greater knowledge and greater concept of self. And it boils down to self and how, again, we deal with situations that life throws at us. So it is super important to have a space, even if it is in your bathroom, in 20-minute intervals when you get the kids down for the night. And you know, sometimes we can't wait to nighttime to recharge. Sometimes we need some positivity and some energy, some good flowing energy right at the moment. So those would be those 5-10 minute pop-ins to the bathroom if you can't get any time to yourself just to be. And I know sometimes with little ones it is difficult because they'll come right on in the bathroom with you. They do not mind. But you take 10 minutes to get yourself together, whether you are doing a meditation, a prayer, or you have your notepad in there with you and you're writing down what's on your mind. And you will, just to get it out of your system so that you can breathe. I don't know how many of you experience panic attacks when life is hitting hard and you know feel like you cannot breathe. Has happened to me. So I understand better now that I am in charge of how I handle the stuff that comes at me, sometimes out of nowhere. You know, you could be having a great day, and you get a phone call, a text, or email that changes that narrative. However, you still have things that you have to do and you have to get through. So I'm going to share a piece from my book, Root Work, Triumph Over Trauma. It is a poem, and it is a poem on dealing with adversity and remaining steadfast in your faith. So it asks a question, and the title is Sacred Space. Sisters, where do you go to find yourself? How do you get to your center and reconnect when faced with adversity? I find relief in the refuge of sacred space. Shoes off at the door, I enter knowing I will find answers in the solace of my private thoughts. She waits patiently in expectation of my arrival and an excruciating deep need to exhale. Her colors are soothing. She takes me in tones of orange, blues, calming yellows, and power-infused purples. Powerful scents of sage and incense lovingly reminds me to breathe. 1, 2, 3, deep breaths in, hold, and release. Chimes that inspire Buddhist chants offer up a soothing bing, bing, bing. It's in the drum beats of Mother Africa and in images of goddesses framed on colorful soft fabric. They invoke ancestral spirits, speaking to me in hushed tones, reminding me that the answers I seek are inside, waiting on the right timing and the placement of my chi to come forward. From the lights adorning the sacred altar and altar filled with offerings to those who've come before me, to the signs of nature found throughout sacred space, I know I am special. Chosen, in fact, for greatness. And that soulful peace, it is making its way back to my core. Find your space for healing. Make a promise to yourself. Insist on it. Enter sacred space as needed and watch the universe pour out blessings earmarked just for you. And so I don't know what your sacred space looks like. Um, it does not have to be um, a commercial building. It might be in your room or at an altar that if you have not um, built one yet, that you build, because that is where we honor the ancestors. That is where we ask Mother, Father, God, and the universe to bestow those blessings upon us to help us move from the chaos of whatever is happening in the world and on a more condensed scale in our lives, in our homes, on our jobs, in our families. It is very important that we deal with our feelings rather than holding things in until we blow up. And for those of you who are partnered, married, um, raising children with someone, and if you don't have children yet and you're just partnered thinking about marriage, I want to say that your partner is not a mind reader. They simply are not. So it is up to you to let them know how you're feeling once you know how you're feeling, right? And if you don't know, tell them that. I'm just feeling just discombobulated. I feel like I'm going to start having panic attacks, or I'm on the verge of having a serious panic attack. I'm not sleeping well, because your partner might sleep like a rock. I'm not sleeping well, which is affecting my day. It's affecting my attitude, and it is because I don't know what's getting ready to happen, and I am having so many things come at me at once. I just need a minute to process this as best I can so that I stay on top of my square. So please find your sacred space, create it if you don't have it. My altar, which I will, share another day, definitely has pieces of ancestors who have gone, before me. So things that they liked. So obituaries. It's kind of like a shrine. It is because that is where I pay homage, because I always ask that the ancestors be on my shoulders. I'm always asking for prayers for myself, my family, friends, loved ones, even those I don't know personally. Because as you know, if you are involved at all, even just reading posts on social media, that there are so many people going through. And I want to say that there are so many people going through without someone in their lives that they can um, discuss what is on their heart with, right? And so, as I always say, we have the choice to either use social media to beat the social media drum for good and help people, even if it's just giving them a space to make a post about how they're feeling, because um, emotional well-being and mental health matters so much. Um, and I promise you, as a person who lives with depression and anxiety, that it is of utmost importance to have somewhere to express oneself honestly and openly. And so sometimes social media is not the best place to do that, because we have a lot of folks, one, that just are not empathetic. They can't understand how someone can be in a situation because they've never been in that situation. And that ain't how, empathy works. Empathy says, I feel for you. I feel badly for what you're going through. And I'm going to send you some positive energy, because that's just not a cool situation. And even though I don't know you personally, you are, a child of the Creator. You are here, And I believe everybody has a purpose. So let's get, let's pray for you to get back on track, and let's give you some tools to put in your toolbox that you can use to help you get back on track. Right? Because it matters. And everybody, I think people just want to be heard. Even if it's to say, I feel like I don't know what's going on and I'm all off kill. To be able to say that and not have somebody throw it back in your face matters. And because the world can be so cold at times because people are not empathetic enough, it can be very difficult to share that information. And people that are going through have a right to self-expression. So I'm hoping that, we do more of beating the social media drum for good to get people in touch with resources that they can use in their toolbox. Sometimes it's just leaving an emoji that says, you know what, I appreciate you. So many people are on the verge of just crossing over to the other side where there is hopelessness because they are overwhelmed and don't have a mode of self-expression. So again, as a creative arts holistic wellness life coach, I use creative arts to help people with self-expression, especially those who have a need for trauma release. And it hits people at different times that they are going through, that they have been through a traumatic experience, when you maybe start remembering things, or somebody says something and it piques your, it hits your memory like, wow, that's kind of a deja vu. Maybe that little vision I keep having in the back of my head really did happen because there was just some confirmation. And I say that because we still have to work on letting skeletons out of our family closets, because we have people who planned on taking the family secret to their grave, and now they're in their 80s or 90s, and that's generally when people are at the end and they know they are getting close to the end. That's when they start talking, because all of that stuff that they've held in that helped increase their blood pressure and was putting them on the road for a stroke and heart and kidney failure, because they are holding all that in from 40 years ago that they never let out, and now that they are nearing the end of their life, they're like, I don't want to take it with me. So again, on that, your journey to finding ways to express yourself for self-care, for healing, for doing the shadow work that is needed if you have been through something. And absolutely there are people excuse me, who have not had it as rough as others may have, and so they may not understand that they too have to deal with things that they have been through. We all do, because if we don't, it will come back to bite you later on, and it will come out in different ways. One of the main things it does when we don't deal with our trauma, things that we've been through, when we don't acknowledge it, when we don't go back to what happened in our childhood, and actually deal with that as a young adult or as an adult or even as a senior, it's going to put a damper on what could have been and what can be. We absolutely have to deal with that. And it can be scary. But what's scarier is giving your voice away, being a people pleaser that allows people to walk all over them, losing self-confidence, not understanding your worth, not realizing that we all go through things, and that it is not how we fall down, because stuff is going to happen, that's life, but it is how we get up. So be encouraged to get up. And I'm going to close out this morning's live as we close out August 2023 with faith. And my name is Amani, and that means faith. And faith, if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, stands for, in Hebrew 11:1, it's the subject of all things hoped for, evidence of things not yet seen. That is just, to me, translates to trust God, trust the universe, regardless of what it looks like right now. Because my God, my Creator, can change things in the blink of an eye. 1 second. 1 second. And I think that the respectful process to that process is having faith to know things will work out, not becoming a shrinking violet, not hiding yourself, and when I say hiding yourself, that takes on a couple of things. Not hiding yourself from the situation, because you will need a plan, and though it may not go exactly the way you plan, God wants to see our movement and see that we believe. I do believe that. So you're going to have a plan, and you're going to be working on that, and you're going to let faith do what it does, and not hide by sexing it away, drinking it away, doing self-destructive things to avoid dealing with the situation, because the situation still exists, but it's how we deal with it. So I will go ahead and share this. Faith. Imani means faith. Imani is both a noun and verb, and it's the tool I use to push through life surprises. Those hard times and rough patches that produce challenge. When I find myself unsure of which way to turn, I remind myself to stop and breathe. Relinquishing control to the universe, I wait on her answers. Doing so allows me to wrap my head and heart around the best solutions. The biggest lesson my name has provided me, it has been the gift of learning to trust me and to understand that the universe will always provide the best answer. I need but ask. And slow down long enough to connect. Faith is sustaining. Faith is necessary to live my life and live it on my terms. Faith is necessary to see beyond the immediate and to know that I'm connected with a higher power that always has my best interest at heart. I need but believe and know. And that too was taken from Root Work Triumph Over Trauma. You can find it on my site, cmaniwilliams.com. Get your signed copy. I share a lot of that book on here because I believe that there is a way to move through adversity and to move through things when life is hitting you. These are my design earrings. They say poetry, double-sided, artwork, wood. I am having a back-to-school sale on ear art that I believe encourages young ladies. My granddaughter is in the 8th grade. Young ladies, middle school and older, to express themselves through ear art that uplifts and encourages. And when people see my ear art when I'm out and about and they see it with, they stop and they say, I dig that. And a lot of times it's guys, that's a really cool earring, because they are conversation starters, intentionally conversation starters, and they are confidence builders. For anybody that's been on the natural hair care journey. You know how it was when you first began, and how it is every time since you began that somebody stopped you on the street, wherever you were, at the grocery store, in line, at Walgreens, whatever, whatever. But they said, I really like your hair. You're wearing that well. And what that did to boost your confidence on the hair journey, particularly if you were locking, because we know that when we lock, and I do also do Happy to be Nappy hair workshops, which I've offered since 1988 or 9. And I started that because um, there were white grandmothers who got their um, black grandbabies for the summer and didn't have a clue what to do with their hair. And I just got tired of it. So I said, come on and get some knowledge, some information, because that baby is too cute for that. Yes, and your grandson can go to the barber shop. I got a couple of referrals for you. But, you don't know if you don't know. And so that is why I started Happy to be Nappy hair workshops over 20 years ago. Right around the same time I started designing jewelry. I knew I wanted to raise the confidence and have a product and a service that spoke to the community. It was done for the culture, and that is what I do with all of my offerings. They are spirit, soul-based, from the heart. So should you be interested, like I said, there is a back-to-school sale on my ear art. Find it at CManiWilliams.com. We got the back-to-school ear art. We have books on sale there that you are welcome to grab your copy so that I can sign it. And you're also welcome to check out the freebies and the workshops on healing and writing if you are interested in publishing. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for creative arts, holistic creative arts, for trauma release. If you're going through, please stay encouraged. Know that it gets greater later. This is only a moment in time, no matter what it looks like, because I know a lot of people are going through. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. You all have a great hump day. Remember to stay hydrated, smile at somebody. It just might make their day. And if you have not followed me and you like what I'm saying, please follow. And I do follow back. I do follow back. Have a blessed day. Peace.